Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Woke by Accident Podcast, a weekly chat about socially conscious topics. And today we have a special guest. We are happy to have one of our favorite co hosts, one of our most cultured and experienced podcast brothers, Sambaza, host and creator of the Sambaza podcast, who hails from the Republic of Kenya in East Africa. He is a two-time nominee for Best Diasporan Podcast, African Diasporan Podcast for 2020 and 2022, and he has been a presenter at the Afros and Audios Podcast Festival discussing Pan Africanism, and he is slated to be a speaker at the 2024 Afros and Afro's Audio Podcast Festival. So, hey,
Thank
welcome,
you. Thank you.
Sambaza,
And as usual, we're on the air. And oh, by
live.
the way, yeah, live actually. How was your week? It was great.
Yes, very good. Looking forward to this holiday blessed weekend. Amen. Okay,
Great, great, great.
for
Yeah, I know
sure.
we had a great show last week. That was about the mental health, and this week we're talking about lifestyle. I think we're going through a whole phase here where we're going mind, body, and soul, right?
Yes, I love that for
Mhm.
us as we celebrate and amplify International Women's Month. In honor of International Women's Month, we have been doing this series where we have highlighted extraordinary stories, achievements, and contributions of women from diverse cultures across the globe. So we're really excited about that to have a special guest for you again this evening. And the goal is to amplify voices again of women who have made significant impacts in various fields from activism, science, business, arts, and beyond, health, like you said, mind, body, soul. So totally,
All right.
definitely. Yeah, so like I mentioned with Sambaza, we do are happy to have a special guest with you. She is a certified personal trainer, rowing coach, wellness strategist, and she is dedicated to empowering women and girls through fitness and holistic wellness education. Her passion lies in promoting a active lifestyle along with fitness, nutrition, education to combat childhood obesity and preventable diseases, particularly within the African American community. She believes that empowering women and girls in sports has a ripple effect, positively impacting families and communities. This is definitely in sync with what we have been discussing, so I'm really excited to bring her in.
Drum
And we
roll.
have Miss Flo Elkins, proprietor of Flow Life Fitness. Welcome.
Greetings, greetings. Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Yes,
I like
thank
the
you
way
for
you start.
being here.
Greetings, greetings. Okay, we'll go with that. All right, we'll jump right in, Flo. We're welcome to have you here, and we appreciate you. And thank you for taking your time out to have a conversation with us regarding our health and fitness. Because as we know, you're a fitness trainer and also you promote healthy lifestyles, and that is vegan, right? So, my first question is: what are the some of
Mhm.
the fundamental principles of a healthy lifestyle that everyone should know?
Well, I believe just like anything else, everything starts with your mindset. So you're talking about mind, body, and soul. And so, in order to live a healthy lifestyle, I believe that you have to have good mental health. And if that means getting therapy for past issues, or seeing a life coach or someone that can help you get your mind together, I believe that that's where it starts. Also, getting and staying active and eating well. And that comes from you have to really look at your background and how you were raised, your relationship to food. A lot of us have a bad relationship with food, and
Okay.
that may entail people just eating just to be eating. We have a lot of emotional eaters, people eating and not knowing why they eat. So if you look at your background and how you were raised as far as your relationship to food, whether you were taught to eat everything on your plate, if there was food scarcity in your neighborhood or in your family, people develop habits around that, like hoarding food and things of that nature. So basically, really getting to know yourself, mind, body, and spirit, soul, and staying active. So I think that those are the main fundamentals of living a healthy lifestyle, addressing all of those issues.
Oh, okay. And actually, I was going to say Fatima Muse is. I hope I did not butcher her name. She's in the comments, and she actually said something I wanted to talk about. This finishing a clean plate in the house. And I know I can add this where I, as an immigrant, I tell my kids, kids in out there live without food, or they're going to sleep without food. Is this one of the bad things or something that we should avoid telling our kids?
I believe it can be bad because even if they do eat everything on their plate, those people are still going to be hungry, other people. But I think one of the problems with that is that we don't train ourselves to be aware of our bodies. Our bodies tell us when we're full, so satiation. Our bodies tell us when we're satisfied. And so when you're just telling your children to eat whatever's on their plate or have their plate clean, their body may have told them, I'm full, I'm satisfied, I don't want to eat until I'm stuffed. And instead of listening to their body and the internal message, they're getting that external message of their parent or whoever it is telling them, eat everything on your plate, and ignoring those internal signals. So I think that that can be a bad thing, and that can lead to dysfunctional relationships with people with food. And that's sometimes where different eating disorders come into play, whether it's overeating. We talked about that in the bio, where trying to combat childhood obesity as well as diabetes. And so when people are eating more than they should, and then they're not being active, that's where obesity starts. And a lot of times with children, they're eating everything on their plate, and then they're eating the snacks and everything else, and then they're not moving as much as they used to. In my day and age, we used to go outside and play, and now the children are sitting in front of their electronic devices, so they're not getting as much exercise. And then being from California, a lot of the schools have taken physical education out of the schools as a requirement.
Oh,
So those children really aren't moving and getting the required amount of exercise they need to stay healthy.
That's so true. So, Basil, did you want to touch on the
I wanted,
comments?
yeah, I
Mhm.
was going to touch on the comments. I want to welcome Emmett McLaurin and Fatima Muse and Ray Lachey and Marvin Elkins. Now, Ray
Oh,
Lachey
my
says this is phenomenal. And Marvin Elkins said we must consider what our diets were comprised of, which is another question in itself.
Mhm.
Our diets. I remember 2 weeks ago. Remember that topic we were talking about mental, not mental health, but we're talking about care with Tiffany B. And she said
healthcare.
that Black
Yes.
Mhm.
people we got the worst of the worst in terms of food, and then we also talked about this desert. We had these food deserts,
Right.
and I think most of that actually works in not in our favor when it comes to actually having healthy meals. And actually, Flo, I wish you would talk about more a little bit on that regarding food deserts and stuff like that.
Mhm.
How are we as parents responsible for our kids to be able to let them know, like, hey, you need to be eating healthy? Like Tiffany said, she never knew. Tiffany B said she never knew about Brussels sprouts and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But
Mhm.
these are foods that are out there, but they're not being made accessible to our people.
Unfortunately, that is a reality that in our communities, a lot of grocery stores have left the community. And one of the things that I would encourage, and I know it can be hard, but growing our own food, and then
Mhm.
also going to community, what do they call them?
Gardens, community gardens.
No,
Is that
the
the
other
one?
thing where they have the food
Like the
market,
co-ops or
farmers market.
farmer
Yeah,
market.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about anywhere else, but I know in Los Angeles, you can find a farmer's market every day of the week somewhere
Oh
in the
wow.
city.
Oh,
So if you eat more healthy foods, whole foods, less processed foods, and then also just reading food labels, that's one of the things that I like to educate people about. Because, like Marvin said in the comments, we must consider what our diets are comprised of. A
Mhm.
lot of what we're eating, if we're not reading the food labels, almost 90 something percent of the food that we're eating has sugar in it. And
Mhm.
just looking at the statistics of how much sugar is in all of our food from 20 years ago to even now, it's increased. And sugar is very addictive. And the food makers know that. And so they start with putting sugar in baby formula. Now, in other
Mhm.
countries, they highly regulate how much sugar is in the foods. But if you're, even as an infant, if you're, making whole foods like blending your own peas, blending your own carrots, and that's why I encourage people to make their own food at home so that they know what's in it rather than going out as much or eating out and buying packaged foods.
okay. And I guess it's what you say, pay for it now or pay for it later. It does
Mhm.
cost for to get organic food, fresh organic food now, but I mean you're paying up now to reap the profits in the end. And welcome to the show, Darlene and Crate Digger from the C4 Collective. Um, Actually, Emmett McLaren has said, Flo introduced me to ways to enjoy the vegan life. I guess I'll leave the next question over to you, Jen, as we segue to vegan life, because I think Flo has a nice topic about vegan life.
Yes. And so I understand that you maintain a vegan lifestyle. What initially has inspired you to transition to the vegan lifestyle?
Well, I'm going to make that correction. I'm going to say I eat a vegan diet.
Okay, okay.
And the
Would
difference is that a veganism and vegan lifestyle is very
uh-huh.
different than eating a vegan diet. So I don't want
Mm,
nobody come for me on social media because I heard somebody saying that last week where a woman was talking about she was like on her social media riding a horse and people came for her because
oh,
the vegan lifestyle, they don't believe in using animals for your entertainment and enjoyment.
mm,
Oh,
So I will make that correction. I eat a vegan diet. So when I first started eating a vegan diet, it was not intentionally to become vegan, so to speak. I've had digestive problems for pretty much all my life. And I don't know, something with chicken just kind of grossed me out when I was 15 and I stopped eating chicken. And then when I was in college, I had a hard time digesting the beef. So I stopped eating beef. And then it wasn't,
mhm.
and beef, I love, love, love hamburgers. I liked liver, the whole nine. So I didn't think that I would ever stop eating that. But when it didn't agree with my body, I had to give it up because I was having some serious digestive issues. And then it wasn't until about 2014, 15 that I stopped completely eating fish and everything and all dairy products, all animal byproducts. So
Mm.
that it was a slow transition. So when I completely stopped, it was easy because for 24 years, all I ate was fish.
And there's so many substitutions. What are your thoughts on those substitutions for like meat and things like that?
Well, I am a big Beyond Burger eater.
Okay, okay.
And I know a lot of people don't like Beyond Burger. Some people like Impossible Burger and all that, whatever. But I do eat Beyond Burger products. And I will also say I'm a stock owner. So, I'm making a little money off of the money that I spend eating it. But
Mhm.
I also believe in eating lots of vegetables, fruits, and whole foods. I eat And one of the questions you're asking about, like, what are some staples? And so for me, I know a lot of times you hear people say beans and legumes and nuts and seeds, but I'll be more specific. I eat lentils, a lot of lentils. I eat lots of garbanzo beans. So I'll make garbanzo beans with different things. Tacos, I eat tacos at least once a week. You know, I'm big
Okay.
Taco Tuesday. So that's one day of the week that I don't have to worry about or think about what I have to eat. But yes, I do eat some of those packaged products, but I do think that it's really good to kind of balance it out and eat a lot of whole foods. So lots of veggies, mushrooms, bell peppers, and asparagus. I make sauteed vegetables every week as well. So
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I got a question on top on that. Now you are in Dallas right now,
yes.
and are you having a? Are you struggling getting like restaurants that are vegan? Because I know I gotta say this. We've had dinner with you, and it's been tough selecting a location for you. And as much as we try, we always kind of hanging in there, hanging by the thread. You're like, Flo, is this gonna work? You know,
Right.
how has it been the experience? And this will touch on the availability of your, being on a vegan diet, how it affects you.
Well, one of the things that I think is really great about my childhood is that we didn't eat out a lot, and we actually loved our my mother's food and cooking. So we didn't have that habit of eating out a lot. So one of the things that I say as a person that eats a vegan diet is that I take full responsibility for my eating. So if
Okay.
I'm going to a party, I make sure I eat ahead of time. I don't hope and pray that they have vegan food or
Right.
even expect people to cater to my needs. So before, when I first went totally vegan, the diet, I would take my food with me. And people would talk about me because I would carry this lunch bag that had containers stuffed in it. And that's the other thing is that when I went completely vegan, I was also doing bodybuilding competitions.
Hmm.
So I
Nice.
had to make sure that I ate at a certain time and everything. And so, yes, I did want to point out, just because I see it in the comment, what Ray Lachey said, isn't there still a possibility to be unhealthy vegan by eating processed or substitute meats?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Mm.
One of the quotes that I say all the time is just because it's vegan doesn't mean it's healthy. For some reason, people act like that's one and the same, and it's not. Just because it's vegan does not mean it's healthy. That's why you have so many, or you can have so many obese vegans. I
Mm.
have a
Oh,
sweet tooth. He looked like, really? Yes. You want me to tell you one? No, I'm not going to go there. But anyway, I have a sweet tooth. So I like a lot of candy and cookies and stuff like that. And,
Okay.
try to balance it out. But yes, just because it is vegan does not mean it's healthy.
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, but the restaurant experience has been a struggle, that for sure.
Bonbons. I'm trying to figure out who this Emmett McLaren is because they know some stuff about me. They said the bonbons, yes, the vegan bonbons from Trader Joe's. They make it made out of coconut milk.
Really?
Oh my goodness. I haven't
Okay.
eaten
Oh,
those in a while, but anywho, the restaurant, there are, just because there is a large population and the population is growing of people that eat a vegan diet, there
Mm-hmm.
are more restaurants that have vegan options or solely vegan restaurants. They are a little bit more hard to come by in Dallas than they are in LA because LA is just like that. Okay, she said, your cousin in Washington. Okay, thank you. I was like, who is this? Emmett. Okay, so yes, in Dallas, there are several, and I'm always asking people that say that they're vegan and are familiar with the restaurants in Dallas. I'm always making a list of places to go. But like I said, a lot of times I have crazy food experiences, and the food is
Mm.
not all it's cracked up to be, and definitely not worth the money. Just that's the other thing. You
Mm-hmm.
asked or said something about vegan, eating the vegan diet can be expensive. For some reason, the restaurants in particular believe that because they have that vegan label on it, that they could charge you $16 for a burger that they got out of the package. So, like I said, it goes back to me actually having a better experience by just cooking at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And now, has how has the adopting of a vegan diet changed your lifestyle, overall lifestyle and well-being? From the
Mhm.
time, I mean, if you remember, like you said, now we know that you had issues, digestive issues, and now that you've combated that, as an adult, as we're growing older, how do you notice some differences in terms of health wise?
I would say one of the things is that I feel a lot lighter in my body. Like when you eat meat or when I ate meat, I felt a lot heavier, a lot more tired, sluggish. And of course, having digestive problems added to that. So I would say that that's the main thing. Just feeling just better overall. When I do eat, like I said, I eat junk and candy and cookies and stuff like that. But when I do eat whole foods and healthy foods, I just feel so much more satisfied and full and feel
Mhm.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned some of your go-to or a good go-to ingredient were like lentils and things like that. I know just share having a lot of friends who have the diet, they mentioned that like the texture, you don't really miss the meat if the texture is similar. Does that make sense? Or
Yeah. And one of the ways that people kind of get around that with the texture is eating things like mushrooms. There's
yeah.
different types of mushrooms like lion mane. I finally tried that a couple of weeks ago, like as a hamburger, was really good. So different textures like that. You can use lion mane as a burger substitute. You can use oyster mushrooms like a chicken substitute. I've
Okay.
had the oyster mushrooms like that, and it really does. Well, I won't say it tastes like chicken. Other people that eat chicken say it tastes like chicken. But the thing
Okay.
about me with not eating chicken is I don't like the taste of chicken. So even
Right.
if it's fake or whatever, I don't want it to taste like chicken. A lot of times people eat stuff and they're like, yeah, everything tastes like chicken. But as far as the textures are concerned, a lot of people are able to copy that or mimic it by using mushrooms and different ingredients that will simulate that.
Okay, this experience that you're talking about, did you see a chicken get slaughtered or what? That made
No,
you.
you know what? It's so weird. My mother was barbecuing and she told me to go outside and turn the chicken over on the barbecue grill. And literally, I was like, ew, this used to be alive. And then from then on, I just didn't eat chicken
Oh,
again.
Yeah, I've
oh,
heard
I
other
was
people
15.
feel
I
that
don't
way
know
about
why
meat.
yeah,
oh, okay.
Like they don't
yeah.
even want to touch raw meat and things like that, and it grosses them out. I've heard people say that.
And see, I'm not one of those vegans because
Oh,
my
okay.
partner still eats turkey. And
Yeah.
that's the other thing is I don't try to force my lifestyle on other people. I
Mm.
just live my life the way that I think that I should. And if you enjoy it for yourself, then you can come along on this journey. But I don't try to force it onto other people because when you force it on people, it's not going to stick. If they don't want to do it, if it's not in them, if it's not part of their journey, they may do it for a little while and then they'll go back to what they're used to or what they want. So I'll cook, I make, turkey sandwiches for my partner or, eggs,
You don't feel
Mhm.
like
things that
a
I don't
slight
eat, I
bite?
will make. Say that again?
You never get the temptation of having a bite to it
Never,
at all?
never. No, it's been way too long. Yeah.
Oh, so it's familiarity.
No,
Because
I
I've
mean
been.
I have no desire. Like nothing about it is like, oh, I wish I could have that or that looks good. It may smell good, but still never like I can't even imagine the texture in my mouth. I went to my cousin had a birthday get together at what is the place they call Benihana's.
Yeah.
several years ago, and the juice that, so I just wanted vegetables, and
Right.
so they're cooking the chicken, and then I see the juice kind of going over to where the vegetables were, and I was like, no, no, no. And then he put the beef. I was like, can you just take my vegetables off before the beef juice gets over there
Right.
too? And I end up being sick in the bed for 2 days behind that. Yeah, because it's
Wow.
Oh,
it's been a very long time. Yeah.
and
So
this is the one thing I have been, and Marvin, your people seem to be getting everything on point, like what I'm going to ask next. Marvin Elkin says your mindset is affected by how your digestive system works. You eat whole foods, it affects how we think. Now, I've been in this journey, and I've been fluctuating with my weight back and forth, and I have started this in January. I had high, I'm taking a lot of protein and low carbs. But for some odd reason, some days I'm like, I really, really want those carbs. Okay, cakes, yeah, I'm trying to avoid the cakes at all costs. And I feel like it's like a drug. And you have to avoid situations that you have stuff around you, like cakes. I can't have cakes around me. I can't have this thing around me. And I guess my mindset hasn't gotten there yet, so I'm still struggling with it. But when you were turning into now with the vegan, into the vegan diet, what were the challenges and how were you able to overcome it?
well, I guess the biggest challenge is just having to always have food available for myself. So going out, and I don't like to be that vegan that's like, oh, I can't go to that restaurant because they're not going to have anything. I just try to look at the menu ahead of time. Sometimes I might just be like, okay, this will be a salad day, because people always think, oh, you can just have a salad. It's like, what the heck? That's not all we like to eat. So that would be the biggest challenge. And then also the fact that I said that I was doing bodybuilding competitions at that time, and people would just say to me, well, just eat eggs, well, just have some chicken. And it's like, it's not like that. Like, this is
Mhm.
like how I live, this is what I eat. This is not just like for the moment I'm going to do that. So that was the biggest challenge, is people understanding that no, it's not that simple to just, oh, just eat a little eggs, or oh, just eat a little chicken. It's like, no, this is what I'm going to eat. And then the other thing that I wanted to point out, something that you said about, you can't be around certain food or whatever. That's why when I work with my clients, I don't like to, rather, I don't like to restrict them from things, because like I said, even with trying to force my lifestyle on other people, when you restrict people or restrict even foods from people, then it's like that's where that binge eating comes in, where it's like, oh, they get weak. And that's working on your willpower. If you're thinking about what your goal is, why you're doing it, and it goes back to what I've said in the beginning, it's your mindset. Why are you doing it? What is it for? What are you trying to accomplish in this goal? What are you expect How are you expecting to feel? What is the end result? So if you say, okay, I'm just going to eat a cheat meal, so to speak, on the weekend, just one
Mhm.
meal, or I'll have cookies and then I'll put it down. There's a lot of things that you could do around the foods that you like, instead of just completely avoiding them, so that you don't binge once you get a taste of it. Because if you're saying, okay, I'm going to do this for this period of time, and then you go back to it, then it's like that's where that cycle happens, where it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm back on it. Now I have to stop and restrict myself from this, instead of just like taking small steps and doing small things that will change and have a greater impact later.
Oh, okay. I'm going to jump onto the notes. We have Ed Campbell saying peace and one love, and he's been a vegan for 8 years now. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jen, what do you have next? What question you had next?
Yes, and it was we talked about the challenges. And so, how do you address setbacks and plateaus that, speaking with your work as a personal trainer and working with clients with fitness and healthy lifestyles, working with their healthy lifestyles, addressing those setbacks? You talked about not having the foods around you and things like that. Those setbacks, how can one address those? Or how do you address that with your clients?
Oh, by the way, this
Always
is a
go.
free tip. This is a free tip on the business. Please don't charge us. I'm plateauing, so please that advice will help me a lot.
Well,
Your
see,
word.
you shouldn't have told me. Now I'm gonna send you an invoice afterwards.
Let's send it to them.
So it all goes back to what I just finished saying. What is the end goal? Why are you doing it? What are you trying to accomplish in this? How do you want to feel? Who is the person that you want to become? So that plateau is like, okay, once again, change little things. Okay, maybe walk a little bit more, don't eat after a certain time. There's little things that you could do to make a huge impact. So it's like, okay, drink more water, eat less snacks, or don't eat so many snacks, things like that. Walk
Okay.
more, few more steps a day.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a
Product to use.
person.
Okay. Yeah, I was sorry. I was reading the notes. So
Okay,
things like
Samantha,
that. But it's always small changes, though. That's the
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
When people want to lose weight or they hit a plateau, they want to do something really, really big to get something, get a fast result. And you have to think about, and I have to remind people, you didn't gain that weight. Oh, you didn't gain that weight. You gained the weight over time. A
True.
lot of times you've been heavy for months or years, but then when you decide to lose weight, you want it to come off in a month. It's like, no, you've gained 30
Mm,
pounds over the last 10 years. You're not going to lose 20 in a month.
right.
So I gained weight in like 10 days, quick.
Yeah, it's so easy
Wow.
to put it
But
on. It's
losing
so
it is a
easy.
problem.
Yeah, it is.
Mm,
If you look, I used to have this chart where it showed you the different foods that you eat. So if you eat like a bag of chips,
Hmm.
how many hours or how many steps you need to, or time you need to exercise just to burn that one bag of chips. And if you saw those things like, oh, you drank one soda, okay, it has this 20 grams, more than 20 grams of sugar. Just for that one soda, you need to do 2 hours of cardio. That's a little exaggeration, but if you saw,
yeah.
if your goal is weight loss and you saw the foods that you eat and how much time you really need to move and exercise to burn it off, you wouldn't eat it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's a question
You
here
get
from Ed
discouraged.
Campbell. He's asking about recommendation of what product to use in detoxing. And do you have any suggestions with regard to detoxing? Send him an invoice too. I'm just kidding.
I wish I had like I
Uh-huh.
wish I had some products that I could say, draw, here's my detox tea or whatever
Uh-huh.
in the
Oh
comments,
Lord.
but I do not. The
Uh-huh.
only thing that I have used is, what is it called? It's a tea, but it wasn't for the purpose of, well, I guess it was a little bit of a detox. But you
Okay.
could do lemons, cayenne pepper, honey, or maple syrup. And
Mhm.
it's like the master cleanse. I used to do
Okay.
that back in the day. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's water, lemon juice, cayenne pepper, and grade B maple syrup. So you could do that for detox. And with that one, you could do it from 3 to 10 days or even longer. But some people, you can also do that where you can drink that like once a week or something just to clean your system out. But no, I don't have a specific product for
Okay.
detox,
But you
And
do recommend detox is a good idea.
especially if you're having, yeah, if you're having
Okay,
problems. Yeah.
for sure.
But you have
what?
to be smart about that because for myself, because I work out a lot, I try not to detox because I don't want to lose muscle. So a lot of times when people do detox or starve themselves, they're not thinking about the result of muscle loss because when your body needs energy, it's going to go to the place that it gets the quickest source of energy, and protein, which is in your muscles, is where it'll take that energy from. So that's why it's good to eat all types of foods of protein, or not eliminate rather any macronutrient. You need protein, carbs, and fats. So yeah, when you during those detox, be careful if you're working out and things like that.
Okay.
Okay. So, Marvin, I'm going to the comments here. Marvin Elkin said, do not eat after a certain time. Well, Ed Campbell said, before I ask you that question about eating at a certain time, um, Ed Campbell says he uses tummy and parasite teas from Dr. Bobby Price. He's on all platforms.
I
I wish
love
he could
him.
advertise with
Yeah,
us. We would
I
love
love
him.
him. I have his book. My dad
You
actually
did?
gave me his book, Vegetation
Oh,
Over Education, Education Over It, something like that.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I love him.
All right. So we'll go back to Marvin when he says don't eat after a
Yes,
certain
that
time.
is one of the ways that you can combat gaining weight. I think that
Mhm.
gaining weight is not eating after a certain time, and
Mhm.
things that I would suggest that people do to lose weight. Because a lot of times we're eating and then going to sleep, and our food needs to digest. So cutting back and allowing your food to digest before you go to sleep is a good way to lose weight as well. I see I have this book right here, Education Over Medication.
The music
Bobby
again.
Price.
Okay.
I'm not trying to promote him, but I
No,
love
it's
him.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're not yet getting sponsored here yet. Yet.
I know that's right.
Okay.
For
Okay.
sure. So, okay. What did Ed say?
He has a
He said
copy
he
of
is
that book
Pepsi
also.
Oh,
also.
awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Now, I think Jen, we've talked about There's one more thing I wanted to ask. I did this one. I think I've done pretty much a lot of these things. I did a water diet for about 14. It was supposed to be 30 days. I only ended up 14 days, and I did lose. Yes, water. It's just strictly water. First 3 days was a problem. Then after that, it was smooth sailing. However,
And
I
then
did.
what happened when you started eating again?
You kind of gain back. I gained back. Like let's say I lost about 15, gained back 5. Then it stayed steady, but then again, food was around me, and I didn't realize what I was eating, and I ended up back into where uh, I wasn't consistent. So I've been going up and down, and good thing I have a Fitbit that actually monitors everything, and I look at it within the years. Yes, at that point in time, I did lose weight, went down, and then suddenly it came back up. So it's been going back and forth. This time, I'm hoping I can keep it steady. So this water diet thing, and I'm not counting off anyone regarding it, but what would you say about it? And uh, just your own opinion. Um, yeah, but we're not shaming the people who do it because I've seen them somewhere.
It's I my opinion, it's not healthy.
Mm-hmm,
You're not getting nourishment. There
mm-hmm,
is a calculation that you could do. It's called the biometric by BMI.
right. Body mass index.
No,
Or,
BM. Uh, oh goodness. Basically, what it does is it tells you how many calories you need to eat just to live.
okay.
Because every movement you make, you're burning energy, right? So just to live, there is a calculation that can be done to tell you how many. So if you're burning those calories and your body needs energy, that's the thing that we've gotten away from, is understanding that food is our fuel,
Right.
right? And so we have gotten to the point where it's like, oh, it's for fun, it's for boredom, it's for celebration, it's for, all these other things, except for what it's supposed to be for. Yes, we can enjoy it and still do those other things, but just to live, your body needs fuel. So just drinking water, I don't think that's a healthy way, because that's usually what happens when people go back to eating food. Then they either gain the weight back, and a lot of times even more than what they lost.
Okay.
Sounds like a punishment in a prison or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, but I did it.
Right.
Hey,
That's what I say. Just
I
small
survived.
things,
Look, I'm
small
here.
changes will
I'm
make a
here.
huge impact. It's like that ripple effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, those big,
mhm,
okay,
mhm.
I'm just gonna starve myself and drink water, and then you'll be miserable because everybody else is eating around you, and you're like, "Ah," yeah, the first 3 days is hard, and then
People were
after that,
scared. People are scared
but
of
then
me.
it's like once you start eating again, and then a lot of times people don't even know there's a certain way that you should break fast and things like that, and it's like,
Mhm.
no, it's the 14th day. It's like, no,
Yeah,
you
they
got to
had a
be
strategy.
strategic.
Yeah, you couldn't just
Right.
go straight to food. You had to like go. Even you had to prep before that. It was a prep. You eat some salads, and then you get down, and then you go back to that, and then yeah, to break off, you had to break off and go easy, not just jump in and start eating, whatever you wanted to eat. Now we're going to talk about the business part. Jen, will you start us off with the business? And Flo, just tell us what the business is about and what you
Mm,
do. What kind of training programs there are, and then I do understand that you also do rowing, maybe a little bit on that. So I'll let you start off and tell us a bit about it, and then
Okay,
Jen can
so
tell
I
us.
am a fitness trainer, a rowing coach, and a wellness strategist. So basically, what I do is I work with women and girls, and I will say I do have some male clients, but my focus is women and girls. I focus on women that are usually 40 and over that are looking to become stronger and increase their rowing performance as well as their endurance. So, a lot of women think that when they start strength training or lifting weights that they're going to look like men. And I asked them if I look like a man because I've been lifting weights for a long time and I wish I looked more muscular than I do. So it's like, no, everyone that has muscles is supposed to do strength training. From the age of 30, women lose 10% of their lean muscle, and then it increases the amount of muscle that they lose after that. So after 60, it just doubles. So when you hear of older women that fall and have like hip fractures and things of that nature, our
mhm,
muscles are what moves our body. Our muscles are there when they're strong, they you have strong movement. I think you read in my mantra is the more you move, the longer you'll be able to move.
mhm,
And so that's why it's really important for people to continue to move, for women to lift weights and use strength training to help with to help curb combat rather osteoporosis, because when we get older we do lose bone density. And
mm,
so those are some of the things that I work with women, and then a lot of the women that I work with are master rowers, and that just means that they're over 21. A lot of them have been rowing for a long time, but they're not doing incorporating strength training. So I encourage them to do strength training. And then as far as the girls are concerned, I work with middle school and high school girls that are interested in rowing. And it's a good way for them to have a different avenue or another avenue for them to get an athletic scholarship to college, because aside from football, that is the top scholarship that goes
mm.
unassigned every year is female rowing. So if you know a young girl that doesn't play tennis or basketball or soccer or volleyball, rowing is a great option for them and almost guaranteed for them to get into college.
Wow, that's some great information. I'm glad you shared that. Definitely. And then we had additional comments, Sambaza.
Yeah, Fatima says I've never been successful with liquid diets because I miss chewing.
I hear
She's
that.
she's special. She's my special friend. She
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
misses chewing.
you're
That
welcome,
sounds like
welcome.
something she would say.
So this rowing, I'm curious about the rowing. Where do you do it? When, what times, and do we have you have a website that people can go get into and be able to join in
Yes,
if
you can
they're
reach out
watching
to
this?
me at info@flowlifefitness.com. That's my email. Or you can contact me through my website, which is www.flowlifefitness.com. And that's FLO. And if you look right here underneath my name, FLOLIFEFITNESS.com. Here in Dallas, I row on White Rock Lake. There's also rowing on Bachman Lake. And that's the other thing. You got to be a morning person. We row at 6 a.m. to 7:30 and on Sundays from 6:30 to 9 a.m.
So not
So I know my
simulated
friend
rowing, but
Fatima will never, ever, ever be interested in rowing on the water. She might do indoor rowing because we could do that in the afternoon. But as
yeah.
far as being on the lake, yeah, you got to be a morning person.
Wow, that's
So Jen,
amazing.
I am familiar with White Rock Lake. Actually, that's where I do my run, and that's where my running club
Okay.
focuses on their running. Their runs that usually focus on White Rock Lake. It's a beautiful place.
It
Scenery is
is.
beautiful. Even the Bachman Lake is also nice. It's smaller. It's near
Hmm,
the airport though. Yeah,
I
but
know that's a
it's
little disturbing.
right. But
Okay.
when you go to White Rock, I mean the scenery, the landscape. I mean everywhere is just a beautiful place you want to be at. So if
Absolutely.
you're in Dallas area or nearby, you want to go there and do your rowing. I've seen them row, and they have the equipment is there.
Huh.
Everything is there. I mean, it's the whole 9 yards. You want to be there,
Yeah,
and like you said, if you somebody wants to get these scholarships, I mean, when I heard scholarship, my mind went like ding, ding, ding. I got a daughter who may want to get into
Yeah.
it as well. So yeah,
absolutely.
we'll look into it. We'll look into it. And
It
how
sounds
are the
fun
classes?
too.
It
Yeah, it
is. It's
does.
really fun.
It really
And when you
does.
do these classes, are you doing them like now this is minus the rowing. We want to talk about your other one, the fitness part. Um,
She said,
how are the classes? How do you generate the classes, and how do you run those classes? Do you
the
have a
on the ones on the water you said, or the other
no, no, no,
one?
no. This is off the water. The ones for fitness.
Okay, so I actually have clients that I work with on that own their own rowing machines, and so I do a lot of my indoor rowing or erging on the online through
Okay.
Zoom because I have
Hmm,
a lot of international clients that I work with. So we just set up the computer,
nice.
set up the rowing machine, and yeah, row.
Okay. And this also does it also work with the now look, if I want to get onto a fitness class, I don't have to be a rower. I can just come in and say, Flo, look, I want to practice healthy eating. I don't necessarily have to be going to vegan lifestyle. I just need to be regular and say, okay, fine. I want to eat regular foods. Like Fatima says, hey, some of those things don't may not work. And she even says that early in the morning is ungodly. But so I can come in and say, hey, I want a program. I want to lose some weight. I want to get healthy. I don't necessarily have to do the vegan program. Now, do you do it like online version? Do you do it like physically? You go to a
Absolutely.
gym, or which
Okay.
one do you do?
Absolutely. So I create programs based on people's times constraints and financial constraints. So if you want to work out from home and you have some equipment and you just want me to write a program for you, I get all of your information, ask you what your goals are. There's a whole Google Doc that you fill out and you also take pictures and I'll send you those workouts, individualized workouts. If you want to work out online, I do that as well, where people have weights and they work out in their home and I'm telling them what to do. I also have clients that they go to the gym and they set up their phone and I'm telling them which machines to use and all of that. So I do it both if you want to do it on your own or if you want to do it on Zoom, whether it's strength training or rowing.
Nice.
Okay,
Excellent.
Jen, do you have any questions? Because I think I've exhausted all my questions. She done told me everything. I think I'm going to start thinking about enrolling here too.
You should. You need to get in that boat. Okay. I think
We'll
you
have a talk.
do. I think you should
But
go
What's the
live from the
price
boat.
range from? Oh yeah, I have some videos and yeah, yeah.
the one thing that I'm happy about is with regard to what we're discussing is that the vegan diet and the foods. I think as much as I'm growing older, I am leaning towards that more and more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Okay.
dibble dabbled with a pescatarian diet, and I felt like if I didn't have a partner and other people around me, I would have been a lot more successful. I went to a family function and brought a little Tupperware thing. I really feel like I could have done it, and it's still feasible. I might try it again. Like you said, I feel like that is really the direction I need to go. Like, because I've basically struggled with obesity all my life. So I need to do something about it. And I'm ready to do, a change like that. So,
Absolutely. And it all starts in making that decision to
mhm.
make a change. Yeah.
No, um, oh, we got on Jamie. Okay, sorry. Let me go to the
That's one of
comments
my
here.
besties.
So Jamie George, she says hi Flo, and then Emmett McLaren is asking, what is the price range of an indoor rowing machine? Oh,
They vary. I would say, and I talk about the concept two rowing machine because it's kind of like the Cadillac of rowing machines. It's the original rowing machine. It's not fancy as far as their performance monitor. It gives you the information you need and you go with it. Now, there's other machines like the not the Peloton. What's the other one called? The Hydro Row. Hydro Row, where they have the television screen and all of that fancy stuff. But I would say they start about, you could get a used one. And like I was saying, concept two is like the Cadillac of rowing machine. So you could get a used one, maybe $600-700, and those pretty much last, like, even if you wanted to resell them, you could pretty much sell them the same price that you bought them even years later because they're such great pieces of equipment. The
Mhm.
other machines, they may range, I think the low end is like maybe 950 and then and up. Yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted the Peloton really bad, but ended up getting the Pro Form because it was so much cheaper and it did pretty much, similar functions. We're not gonna talk about it sitting in this in the room.
Being a clothes hanger.
But
Just
yeah,
throw
like you
stuff on top
said,
of.
it's a really quality piece of equipment. It really is. It really is.
Just
So
dust it off and start with 5 minutes a day.
come
Just,
on now.
5 minutes. And then be like, okay, that's enough. And then the next day, you might look at it and say, okay, tomorrow. Every other day, it's just small, small. I mean, that we have a habit of like just all in, and then it's just like, and then we crash and burn. So it's like just five
Yeah.
minutes. Next week, 10 minutes. The next week, 15 minutes. Like, don't try to, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do an hour. And then you're just like, the next week you do nothing. Don't do that.
Right.
Yeah, just small things.
For sure.
okay. Jen, do you have
Definitely.
those questions, those rapid fire questions today?
I do, but I figured we had such a hearty,
Yeah, it is. We have
I
a lot
will
to talk
say,
about.
I'm going to answer a question that you guys asked but didn't ask here, is that some of the
yeah.
resources that
Oh
I
yeah.
found for vegan eating,
Hmm.
YouTube. There are so
Okay.
many people on YouTube that have vegan food channels that talk about different recipes. And like I said, because the population of vegans is growing, you can find a lot of vegan options in the grocery store. Another specific person that I follow is called the Minimalist Baker,
Okay.
and I just love getting her recipes. She has, and the thing that I like about it is it's minimalist. So I don't think I've ever gotten a recipe from her that's more than 10 ingredients. So
Oh,
it's just like, oh, you can make this with 5 ingredients or this with 8 ingredients. It really is a minimalist vegan recipe. And then
Nice.
the other place that I get good recipes is Pinterest. So
Okay.
you can find
Definitely.
nice, just Google it or go in Pinterest and search for vegan whatever it is. You can do vegan lasagna, vegan mayo, vegan tostadas, whatever it is that you want. You go on Pinterest and do a search and you can usually find something. So
That
those
is,
are three resources that I use.
I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so
thank you
much.
for sharing. And think lastly, any advice for someone who is, debating on starting this healthier lifestyle and they don't know where to begin?
I would suggest you go to the doctor and find out what your numbers are, what your blood pressure is, what your resting heart rate, all of those things. If you have any, she said, definitely send him an invoice. If you have any deficiencies, because I work from home and I just recently had my annual physical and my vitamin D was low. And so I have to start taking vitamin D, and then I have to tell myself go outside every day, even though I don't always do it, but I have to. So, but like I said from the very beginning, it all starts in your mind, making the decision to live a healthier life. Go to the doctor, see where you stand, what your baseline is, and then make small changes over time. Drink more water, eat more veggies, cook more, eat out less, eat a lot more healthy foods, whole foods, and move more, because the more you move, the longer you'll be able to move.
Yep.
I love that. That's great advice. And we are so glad that you were able to join us, Flo. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for having me. And
Yes, for
thank you for all
sure.
the friends who came through and supported.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Shout out to the chat that has been active this evening. We appreciate all of you guys. Um, please like, share, and subscribe for additional content about the community. Please support the Sambaza podcast. He has merch. Okay.
I ain't got that much
He
yet. That's special for me.
he is trying to or he is on his way to the podcast festival, and can use some meals and things like that. Some healthy meals, healthy snacks. No, I'm just kidding.
Healthy snacks too. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, healthy snacks. So you can support a content creator, reach out, and we receive that in love. We receive that. So no, it's been great. So any additional words, Sambaza, before we wrap it up, because we are tight on time.
No, I am good to go. Just hey, just listen to the Sambaza podcast and show some love over there. And when my merch comes out, hey, just be ready to purchase maybe a cup or a hat or something. But we're not in the merch yet. I just want you to listen and
Okay.
be a supporter of Sambaza podcast. That's all I'm asking. And Flo, thank you so much for making time to come and join us in this conversation.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Excellent. We love that. Thank you again, Sambaza, for being a great co-host and partner, my podcast brother there, and all of you all for joining us as we do this series celebrating women achievements. This has been awesome. We continuing on, so please stay with us as we have some more great content. We may even pop. We plan on popping on again for a special Good Friday episode. So yeah, join us this Friday for a special Good Friday episode. And yeah, join us for that. Okay. And we appreciate you guys so much, and take care.
Peace.
Babe,